Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on what you can do and work as hard as you can at it. We're back with another lesson from Dad on this episode of the Agronomy Answers podcast. Let's dive into it. Thanks, Dad, for joining me for this Lessons from Dad episode. We're going to jump into this topic. Keep pushing. It's in your book, Lessons from Dad. Where did that come from? Start from the top.
Well, basically, my dad every day was on Darren and me growing up on the farm to work harder, get more stuff done. If things weren't done correctly, we had to do it right. Had to always do maintenance besides just doing the job. So it was just every single day, keep pushing. And even as I got a little older, I just remember there was one fall, we get all done with harvest, and it had been kind of a long fall, long harvest and everything. And I go, oh, this is great. We're done with harvest. And Dad goes, well, what do you mean? We're just getting started. We got tillage to do and fertilizer and all these things. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. So, I mean, it's just about constantly working hard every day. If you just keep pushing, then usually things work out pretty well for you.
And now there's a lesson within this lesson that I take even more from than just that of keep pushing, but another one of comparing yourself to others, because one of the lessons you have in here is talking about people that might be gifted in another thing that you might be wanting to do, like whatever it is, if it's higher yields or it's more money, whatever it is. But talking about if you were in that position, well, I would do things differently. Well, you're in a position right now to do whatever that is that you're talented at, and you might not be doing that to the full extent as what you could do. And that's another lesson to talk about in there.
Lots of lessons. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess I will just say I talk to people all the time about this, that you can't focus on what everybody else has, what they're doing, everything else. Just compare yourself to you. Do the best you can do. Because, yeah, I mean, every person is gifted with different things. I mean, that's one of the big things in the Bible. It literally says, if you have this gift, take advantage of it. If you have this gift, use it. But every person is gifted with different things. So, I mean, it actually has worked out pretty well in life, though. Like for my brother and my sister, they had different gifts than I did. So, I mean, I am more of I do a lot of stuff in the office, take care of organization. I like spreadsheets. I like accounting. Whereas Darren likes to be out in the field. He's more of a talker. Our sister Janelle, she's very quiet. And so she's been great behind the scenes doing a lot of things for us. So if you just focus on, hey, I've got this gift, I'm going to make the most out of it, things usually turn out good.
Yeah, now on the flip side, I mean, I've been kind of involved a little bit on the farm and getting my own piece of ground, and it's just comparing that to other ground that might have higher fertility levels, and you're looking for 250 bushel corn. Well, you just get sad every day because the field that I bought has low fertility levels and is not going to produce that this year. But if you just worry about that, you're never going to be excited about growing a crop. But there's a lot of little things that you can work on to get there, and it's kind of fun to go along the process.
But let's talk about that specifically. So this ground that Zach bought is half the price of some other ground that I bought. Well, what do you expect when the ground is half the price? The reason why it's half the price is it sits on the river bottom. It is poorly drained. It is going to take some investment to get it going. Now, eventually it's going to be good, but you can never fix, hey, I've got a river right here, and the county isn't going to spend the money for a diking system. So when the river goes out of its banks, guess what? It's going to end up on Zach's field. That's part of the deal.
But it's just it's just part of it with anything in life, really.
Yep.
And that's basically every single lesson from Dad episode we've talked about. It's just mindset, basically. If you want to do something, if you want to get better, you just basically need to go do it and really focus on what you can control rather than thinking really about other people that you're comparing yourself to.
Yeah, and the overall summary of everything is it's about time management. And it's not just, well, on this day I'm going to do a certain thing. It's about every minute of every day. How much are you pushing yourself to get more done? Now, for example, I was just reading something early this morning, and there was somebody talking about how he was in a business club, And what he noticed is it wasn't the most personable people, the smartest people, the people who had, the most going for them, it would seem, that were the most successful in business. He just said it was the ones who were focused, just relentless on the financials all the time. And basically, just when I read it, it came off as it was a bad thing. And I'm thinking, this isn't a bad thing. Now, sure, those people might not have been as personable or whatever else, but they were taking advantage of their gifts. They were pushing hard every day. And so a big part of this, too, is when we talk about just gifts in general, okay, well, let's say you have that ability that whatever business you're in, just like the stuff I was reading this morning. So these people that had been super successful out of this business club, well, it doesn't say what they did with that money. Were they creating more jobs? Were they giving more to charity? What good were they doing with that money in society? So sure, some people can go cheer people up and they're super personable and everything else. But others, they have the gift that, they might not be as personable, but when they push hard, they can make lots of money, and then they can help all kinds of others with that money.
Okay, so now on the flip side of keep pushing, what about taking breaks? What about going on maybe vacation or just really taking time off after pushing for a long time? How do you value that side, or how do you balance that out?
Yep. So for most people, the way they work is the way they are in their personal life, or vice versa. So where I'm going with that is this. Almost any vacation I had ever taken until probably the last few years, where your mom is pushing me to just relax a little bit more. But basically it was, we got to go, we got to see more things, we're going to do more things, we're going to get a lot accomplished on this. And I mean, even if, let's say I was doing coaching, like little kids sports, whatever, I'm trying to help the kids not just develop in the sport, but also as human beings. And just every day it's focused on the time management and how do we get better all the time. So I just think that's fun. I mean, so for a while, yes, when my dad was getting after me about stuff, I didn't think it was very fun to constantly be getting pushed. But as I got older and I realized, oh, well, when I push hard and when I push myself, then I can be more successful at everything: school, work, farm, personal life, you name it. It's all that time management. And what am I going to do with my time? Am I going to make the most of it? Or am I going to just sit around and mope around when things go wrong or whatever else? You have to get over that. Everybody deals with all kinds of letdowns and setbacks in life. You just have to keep pushing and get past all that.
And get up and keep trying different things.
Absolutely.
And figure out what might work for you, because it doesn't work. It's not a one size fits all for anything that you do. Every single person figures out a different way to do it, and it takes time to do that too.
Yep. Everybody's going to be different, and everybody has their own choices that they have to make. And that's the beauty about living in the United States. You get to pick. Are you going to go home tonight and sit on the couch? Are you going to go home tonight and work out? Are you going to go home tonight and are you going to learn more about your farm and making that better? Are you going to not go home tonight and instead you're going to put in 3 more hours on the farm or at the office or whatever else? You get to choose. And you just have to understand that these choices over here are going to maybe impact some of these other things. So for example, if you work nonstop and you don't exercise, eat right, anything like that, well, you might not live as long. Or if you choose, hey, I'm going to just spend time with my family, well, eventually you might lose your job or things aren't going to go as well on the farm. I mean, you have to get your priorities straight, but you get to choose.
Yeah, and a lot of these lessons are pretty straightforward, but they're things that
They are.
have came from what you took away from what your dad had really passed down to you, and things that you have talked to me about in the same way.
Yeah, but I mean, here's like with this lesson in general, and I want to go back to the thing I said about the guy with the business club in this group that he was with. His point was it wasn't necessarily what they had for even ability or perceived ability or anything else. It was how much they were driven, how much they were focused, how much they were to some degree narrow-minded on, I'm going to make this happen. So if you say, hey, my goal is I'm going to raise the very best corn I can raise, you can't compare yourself to somebody who has irrigation, maybe better soil, whatever else, different climate where they can raise longer day corn or 2 crops a year, 3 crops a year. But for you, you can say, I'm going to make this the very best. And so for the fields right around me, I'm going to try to raise 50% more yield. Can I do that? And if I am very focused on that and narrow-minded with that, in that I'm just looking at how do I get better every little step all the time, every day, over a period of years, it makes a lot of difference. And one of the things, too, that I always tell people who are working just normal jobs, hourly jobs, whatever it is, things stack up over time usually. Like, let's say you're in sales. If you put in one extra visit today, you do the same thing tomorrow, one extra visit with a person that you're trying to sell. Well, eventually you start adding that up over a long period of time. It's tremendous. I mean, it's kind of like for Darren and me with all the knowledge that we've accumulated. Now, it's not that we're that smart. It's just that we've been around for a long time and we've spent a lot of hours learning from other people, learning from our own farm, and just spending so much time in agronomy. We have really dove into that agronomy side. So, yeah, I think it's super fun, but it gets a lot more fun after all the years and all that accumulation over time.
Yeah, and taking a lot of notes to remember a lot of things.
Yes, lots. Because here again, I mean, you have to understand your strengths and weaknesses. I don't have an eidetic memory. I can't remember every last little thing. So I write it down. I take lots of notes. I review the notes, and then I know where to look up the notes. So if I need to go reference something, I can.
Well, thanks for giving a little backstory to this lesson of keep pushing.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Agronomy Answers podcast. If you want to check out this book, Lessons from Dad, it was published a long time ago, but you can still get it now. And thanks for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.